Here are some of the reasons why the government of President Paul Biya refused to go back to the root causes of the crisis in Southern Cameroon. Welcome to TFA Talking Point. President Paul Biya took over office from Amadou Ahidjo in 1982. And in 2020 or 2019, President Paul Biya was in Paris. And during an interview, he mentioned that they have been struggling to assimilate the people of Southern Cameroon, but failed. And when you look at the government of Amadou Ahidjo and the government of President Paul Biya, their main agenda has been to assimilate the people of Southern Cameroon. And then they came to discover that these people are very intelligent and they find it very difficult. And going back to the root causes of those issues will not give them the opportunity to assimilate the people of Southern Cameroon. So they have taken the Anglophone crisis, the Ambazonia crisis, the killing in Southern Cameroon as an opportunity to force many Southern Cameroonians to travel or to flee to Francophone regions so that they will be assimilated. If this is your first time joining TFA Talking Point, I am pleading with you to do us a favor. Subscribe to our channel, follow us, share our videos, drop your own comment, for we are here proposing lasting solutions to problems plaguing our home country, Cameroon. Somebody dropped this comment and I wish to talk about it today. He says, "Hello, brother. My question is always this: why should the government not go back to the root causes of this crisis? Because I think that will be the beginning of finding peaceful solution to this our problem." Brother, you are correct, 100% correct. If the government under the leadership of President Paul Biya go back to the root causes of the crisis in Southern Cameroon, the Anglophone crisis and the Ambazonia crisis, if they go back to the root causes of it, we will have a lasting solution to that problem, and that problem will end totally. But one reason why the government under the leadership of President Paul Biya cannot go back to the root causes is because they don't want that crisis to end, because there is an agenda behind it. President Paul Biya in Paris, that is after the Grand National Dialogue, in 2019 went to Paris to present the report of the Grand National Dialogue to Emmanuel Macron. And then there he granted an interview, and in that interview he says that they have been struggling to assimilate the people of Southern Cameroon, but failed. They who, his government and the government of Amadou Ahidjo that he took over from. If you look critically the way Amadou Ahidjo dissolved the federal system of government, it was so terrible, and it was against the people of Southern Cameroon, and it was based on one agenda: assimilation. That is why throughout the 25 years that Amadou Ahidjo was in office, he refused to create an Anglo-Saxon university. And he was forcing all Southern Cameroonians to go to the University of Yaoundé so that they will be assimilated. That is why throughout his government, those who return back home, studying from Anglo-Saxon system of education abroad in Nigeria, Ghana, and Britain, when they return back home, President Amadou Ahidjo will force them to go through the University of Yaoundé or to speak French before they will have some kind of salary. If they refuse, they will receive a minimum salary. And then the torture Amadou Ahidjo gave to Southern Cameroonians, the abolition of nearly all the thing and the culture, the tradition of Southern Cameroon was a sign that they were out for assimilation. Considering Southern Cameroon as just a part of one of the regions or provinces in Cameroon was a crime, and the purpose was to assimilate the people of Southern Cameroon. Many in those days of Amadou Ahidjo, before, after a advanced level, for you to go to a university, you must be assimilated. And President Amadou Ahidjo resigned from office, and in 1982, President Paul Biya took over, inheriting all the atrocity of Amadou Ahidjo and continued with that mission of assimilation, that agenda of assimilation. And he has been on it. And his grandmaster or his master in France keep on asking, what have you done? You have not assimilated these people. And when the Anglophone crisis came, it was an opportunity for them to assimilate the people of Southern Cameroon. So it went there with the military option. Paul Biya is aware of it. They are holding on to it because that military option is making life miserable for all Southern Cameroonians. So that they will now prefer to escape to French Cameroon. And you cannot count the number of Southern Cameroonians who are now living in French Cameroon. All of them are gradually being assimilated. All of them, they are now becoming, denying and forgetting their own culture and inheriting, instilling the culture, the French culture, the assimilation is going on presently. Because the millions of Southern Cameroonians who are in Francophone regions presently now, for these 7 years, some of them are already speaking French. Some of them are already doing things in the ways of the Francophones. Some of them are going to French university, and all of them will be assimilated. And that is the main agenda of President Paul Biya. If people for all this year have been struggling to do something and already now have the opportunity to do it, why would they not do it? So when Southern Cameroonians will all be assimilated, that is when President Paul Biya will sit on the table for talking. To them, they are not yet satisfied. There are still many Southern Cameroonians who are living there. So they want to make life miserable for them so that they will be assimilated. That is just the answer to this particular question that you asked. They know the root causes of this problem. They know what to do for it to end. They know how it started. It started with the United Nations. That it took granted independence to French Cameroon without a British Cameroon. That was an indication that British Cameroon will have their own independence and will be a new country in Africa. But because of the selfishness of the British, they influenced the United Nations, and the United Nations went against the people of British Cameroon. And not even just asking them to join Cameroon or to join Nigeria, they went and divided them into two again. British Northern Cameroon and British Southern Cameroon. And today, as we are talking, British Northern Cameroon is part of Nigeria permanently. And British Southern Cameroon is part of French Cameroon, but not permanently. Because we can work out something. When all these atrocities came about, then Amadou Ahidjo came in. And then they talk about the federal state, where there will be two equal states, East Cameroon and West Cameroon. And we Southern Cameroonians were West Cameroon. And then we were having all equal states, equal everything. Meaning if the president is coming from East Cameroon, the vice president will come from West Cameroon. That is how it was. That is why Amadou Ahidjo was president and Django Fonchan was vice president. But Amadou Ahidjo was having an agenda, a hidden agenda. And 19 days after that, 1st October, 19 days after 1st October, that Southern Cameroon got their own independence. 19 days, that was on the 20th of October, 1961, Amadou Ahidjo started officially his mission to dissolve that federal system and continue with his agenda of assimilation. He created 5 inspectorates in Cameroon and considered all Southern Cameroon as one part of that inspectorate and appointed somebody as an inspector there in Southern Cameroon. And then he was answerable directly to him and not to the prime minister. And that was where the problem started. And 11 years after, that is 1972, he created this problem, another problem, that the one we call the Anglophone crisis, by dissolving the federal system and saying that he is giving room to United Republic of Cameroon. The Southern Cameroonians were not having a lot of problems, but nearly all their institutions were dissolved and cancelled. And now they were now face to face with harmonization. And President Paul Biya now behind Amadou Ahidjo was seeing everything. And his own mission was to harmonize these two cultures, these two languages, these two educational systems, these two law systems, harmonize them in an assimilating way where French would dominate English. And that was the journey. And in 1984, he dissolved the name United. There was no United. He came back to the French name, Republic of Cameroon. And that is how the problem is, up to date. And there is nothing we can do. They are aware of it. The United Nations is aware of it, that they have a document within the United Nations granting the independence of British Cameroon. Because British Cameroon was under the United Nations as a trust territory. And all the trustee territory that was under the United Nations trusteeship territory gained their independence without joining anybody. Without joining anybody. Only British Cameroon, because of the selfishness of Britain, because of the selfishness of Nigeria by then. They wanted part of British Cameroon by all means. And this is where we are today. So if we go back to all this history, gather them together, sit on it from the origin, studying it from the day League of Nations took over the territory Cameroon up to date, we will solve our problem without killing anybody, without insulting anybody, without pointing an accusing finger to anybody. This is what we have to do. And President Paul Biya is aware of it. The United Nations is aware of it. Britain is aware of it. France is aware of it. But what they are benefiting behind it, they cannot allow it happen.